Enslaved is one of those bands I've not spent a lot of time with. All I know is that they get a lot of praise from other channels. I know whenever there's talk of perfect discographies, Enslaved is usually mentioned, but being that I'm not the biggest black metal fan, I never took the time to get to know them. So a few days ago, I decided to do a deep dive into their discography. A few days is not really enough to get to know this band, but I was surprised that this band is very unique. They also have a progressive rock sound, something I can get into. I started with the first three albums. They were more straightforward black metal, but done very well. Then I listened to some of the more recent albums for a contrast, and it showed me how this band has matured. Though I couldn't find the time to listen to everything, I had a better understanding of the band. This brings us to Heimdal, their 16th album. This one is about a character from Norse mythology. This band does a lot of music based on Norse mythology. His name is Heimdal, and the son of 9 mothers, which is kind of weird. I don't know how that's possible, but he's the son of Odin, and it has something to do with Ragnarok and the Rainbow Bridge. And I guess Marvel Comics should make him a character in the Thor series, or maybe he is. I don't know. Let's move on. For me, black metal is best when it's like mixed with something kind of like peanut butter and jelly. But this time, it's black metal and prog. When it's just old school black metal, I usually can't get into it, but I really like that some of their prog influences are bands that I enjoy. So, for example, Pink Floyd and Yes and King Crimson. So I really like that. The opening track, Behind the Mirror, kicks off with a sludgy, almost Black Sabbath-like guitar riff, very dark and evil. The start was some clean vocals, but then the song starts to take some twists and turns with some tempo changes and some haunting keyboards in the background. This is where it reminds me of classic prog rock. They incorporate their classic black metal sound with some dark and evil vocals, so they have that nice mixture of the two different styles. They go back and forth between different vocal styles, and this song and all the other songs are really all very complex. They keep you guessing. You don't know which direction they're going to go into next. I also hear some of that dungeon synth in the background, and just very complex music. Then Conhelia is the second track, and it's a return to that old school black metal sound from their first few albums. This was one of the singles that I was able to listen to before the album came out. For me, it's not too bad. Personally, I prefer the proggier stuff, but this one has decent production and a nice level of energy. It's a track I can get into. It's an example of classic black metal that's done very well. This one has some of the more brutal vocals on the album. It's an 8-minute long song, and it keeps the same pacing throughout like the first half of the song. They add in some melodic guitars halfway through. I think it's something that would appeal to more of those like black metalers. There weren't a lot of changes going on throughout the songs. There was some like clean chanting towards the end of the guitar solos. This one, it's not bad. I probably like the other ones better, but if you're all like a black metal fan, you'll probably like this one a lot. Then Forest Dweller. This is like one of my favorites because it's one of the more proggier songs. It has this like Arabian sound to it, and they have like all these different sounds going on. Kind of reminded me of Opeth. I'm a big Opeth fan. It has some softer singing and acoustic guitars. It's very atmospheric. Sounds very dense. There's a lot going on in the background. And it has more of that dungeon synth sound. The song goes just full black metal around the halfway point, but it's a nice build-up, and then they have some of this organ that comes in. This one's very fast and heavy. I like the fact that they use lots of different vocal styles. It made the song a lot more interesting. The melodies are very captivating on this one. It paints a picture of these like faraway lands and nice balance of the heavy and the light. Then Kingdom starts off with some heavy sounds, some odd time signatures, and a very progressive metal feel. The opening guitar riff is very complex. It's another song with those dark and heavy vocals mixed with the lighter ones. You can hear some traditional black metal sounds, but it moves at a nice pace and has a nice rhythm. At this point in the album, we're about halfway through, and they keep bringing in some more surprises, some darker melodies, and the vocals almost sound like they were like backmasking, like that kind of vocal. So they do a lot of some interesting stuff. Then The Eternal Sea is a very strange intro. It starts with almost like a video game kind of sound, but then the bass guitar comes in and they're playing these cool like sound passages. It's one of those songs where you don't know what they're going to do next. The arrangements are very interesting. It's kind of slow and atmospheric. more of a progressive rock song with some elements of metal. This band's sound is very original. They're able to incorporate some new sounds. There's some futuristic keyboards that doesn't really seem to fit within the context, but they make it work. The song is mostly clean vocals. It's very melodic. They use odd time signature changes, and the heavy black metal sound comes in about 2 minutes, and then the song ends. Then the song closes with a strange video game sound again. Caravans of the Outer Worlds is one of the songs that was released on one of their EPs. It actually came out in 2021, so if you're a fan, you probably know the song very well, but it was new to me. It's an old school black metal song. They do some different stuff. They make it interesting. It has a very big sound. They mix of vocal styles. It's mostly very heavy. It has the softer, proggier moments. But towards the end, there's a spoken word part that brings up lots of imagery. I like the drumming towards the end of the song. It has that tribal, folk drum kind of sound. Then the final song is the title track, and my first impression was that it starts off like an 80s horror movie, but then it gets dark and heavy with cool guitar riffs. The song's not very fast moving, it's just very dense, lots of sounds mixed together. Another one with that dungeon synth sound. It's very intense, lots of twists and turns, some very demonic spoken parts in the middle of the song. Now, I don't know what they were saying, but it just sounded very evil, and it had this upbeat metal rhythm going more towards traditional heavy metal. I actually like the second half of the song a lot. It takes a cool turn compared to the first half. So that is it. The album's pretty cool. I would say my favorite songs were Forest Dweller, Kingdom, and Heimdal. I need to listen to this another 20 times or so because it's that kind of album. If you like prog, you can get into this. The black metal aspect is not very dominant. It has a nice balance between the prog and the black metal. If you're an old school black metal fan, it's heavy enough for you to appreciate it. My score is an 8 out of 10. It's still early in the month. We'll see where it lands in my top 10 of March at the end of the month. I'm sure it will be on that list. That is all. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Check out this playlist, 2023 new album reviews, everything I have reviewed that came out new since January. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.